Hey y'all, welcome to Ryan and Robert Rants. We are at you with a review today. We just got out of which movie, Robert?
We just got out of Weapons, the
Yeah,
latest
yeah.
feature by Zach Cregger.
Yeah, fresh out. It's been what, about like an hour or so
Something like
since.
that, yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna be going over a review with you. We'll be talking about our theater experience, the trailers, movie summary, which is gonna have spoilers. So you have been warned. If you have not seen this movie, do not venture any further, because we are going to deep dive. We'll also talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll do an out of 10 rating. And obviously, we can't do a tier list yet, but all in good time, maybe one day. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's kick it off. Let's talk about our theater experience. So we went to the theater we normally usually frequent, and we saw it in IMAX because we had to do this one
Yep.
right. This was, if you've seen our top 10 video, spoiler alert on that, this was my number one pick for my most anticipated summer movie, and I think I did pretty good, man. I think we both did pretty good at dodging every single marketing thing that was released for this, because the only thing we've seen is the trailer reaction that we did months and months and months ago when this first dropped. And it's the first teaser trailer that's like 46 seconds, 47 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that long.
Yeah, it's the only thing that we've seen. Everything else we have been under a rock. I've been trying to be off of social media as best as possible. And I was at the gym, and I know I told you this briefly off air, but when I was at the gym the other night, Josh Brolin had come on TV, and I was like, no, no, look away. And then I had just happened to look up at the TV, and it just said weapons on the title, and I looked away like real quick. So I've been dodging bullets like crazy. But yes, we were able to go to the theater. It was the same as always. I think the sound was really good tonight.
Yeah.
The sound was like on point. Even when I got up to use the bathroom at one point, I could still hear the movie through the wall. So I
Nice.
was like, okay, I can hear it. I have a gist of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the theater experience is just same old, same old. Was it the same for you or a little different?
No, I think it was the same. I know the first time we watched an IMAX in that theater was what, Mission Impossible, and it was kind of warm. I believe it was Mission Impossible. Could have been
Yes.
Thunderbolts. Might have been Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts,
Thunderbolts.
because that came out first. And then so far it's been pretty good, like temperature wise. Um, but yeah, other than that, the sound was good. Even for the trailers, I think the sound quality was pretty good. I know the they we used to watch the all the movies in RPX, and the sound quality in the RPX was never up to IMAX standard. I'm so
No.
glad they put the IMAX screen in that theater.
Yeah, I remember the first time the first movie that I didn't get a chance to see it there, but I remember seeing the Showtime was for the 7 anniversary, and I think that's the first thing they showed in there. And I was like, "Oh, that would have been so cool to see in there." But
Nice.
speaking of trailers, let's talk about those. So I did write them down. It might help if I look at the right notes because I'm looking at the ones from Fantastic Four. So as far as the trailers, they're still doing that whole thing where as soon as you hit the showtime, so our showtime was 7:20. As soon as it hit 7:20, they're still showing 15 minutes of commercials, not trailers, 15 minutes of commercials like the pre-show, and
Yep.
then they're doing the trailers right after. And as far as the trailers we got The Strangers Chapter 2, we got Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, Tron Ares, Him, The Conjuring Last Rites, and One Battle After Another. I was kind of shocked that we didn't get Black Phone 2,
Yeah.
but I also understand they got to promote their next Warner Brothers movie too, and I mean, they did it with two of them. So, I don't know. It was a decent lineup for this one, I guess. But also, I mean, I don't think this movie was expected to be like, oh my God, this is like, the tent pole for the summer. This one's kind of gone underwhelming with the marketing. It feels like they waited to the last minute to start pushing this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think they wanted. I mean, for at least for me, I think they just wanted to let that teaser just stand on its own. Like you didn't want to. I don't think for this type of movie you don't want to showcase too much because I
Yeah.
think you don't want to give too much away. And thankfully, like I said, like I mean, you said we saw the teaser, like the 46 seconds. The only other shot of the movie I saw was like the back of Julia. What's her name? Julia Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the back of her head walking down the hallway, and that was like literally right in the beginning of the movie as well. So literally everything I've seen happened like took place in like the first 2 minutes of the film.
While we're on that subject, let's actually shift gears. Let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about that summary. So, once again, we are about to spoil this movie. If you have not seen this movie or you plan on seeing this movie, do not watch any further or watch at your own risk. But you have been warned. So, let's jump into the movie. So, like you said, the opening, I don't even want to say the opening shot, just the opening of the movie with the voiceover of the little girl, who
Yeah.
we never find out who this is. This is just the
Nope.
disembodied voice. It's very inherent vice, um, and she's only in the movie at the beginning and the end, right?
Yeah.
As far as the
Kind of just
voice.
narrating it. Like she narrates it, and I think she's even talking about like because it said the event happened 2 years earlier, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That I don't remember.
Okay, I can't. Yeah, it's just it was something weird. Like it was a good choice because, I mean, to have like a child, like a girl child, like narrate it from the beginning, it kind of comes off as like a creepy thing that just happened in this town, like just upended this like small town. So I think that was like a good choice to kind of set the tone right off this, like right from the beginning, like, hey, this event happened, and then I think the narration, her like the child voice says like, but this is where the story really begins. So it's like you see, like she tells like, okay, like we know if you've seen the teaser trailer, at 217, like all like 17 kids just get up from their beds and just walk out the front door and just start running off into the darkness, and then that's when it kind of like ends, and then she goes, but this is where the story truly began, or like really begins. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, so you basically just covered the teaser trailer perfectly, and now we're gonna get the next 2 hours and like 6 minutes is gonna be all like new footage, at least for us, because we didn't watch anything else.
Yeah, and it was like you said, it's summing up the movie right at the beginning, and I love, like you said, it jumps right into it. So this is what I found interesting is that they break the movie up into segments, which if you haven't seen Barbarian, it's essentially the same thing that he does in Barbarian, he does in here. The only difference is you get an actual title card for each character that they're focusing on. So it starts with Justine, played by Julia Garner. Like you
Yep.
said, the shot that you saw with the back of her head walking down the hallway
That was
is the
it.
first shot that we get of her. So
Yep.
we get a peek into her life. She's dealing with this whole situation. The situation's already happened. They sort of just flash back and forth to the actual event happening, but we get to see the kids running out right at the beginning of the movie. And
Yeah.
when it does happen, it's literally the trailer, but I guess a little bit more extended. And it has a
Yeah.
song playing. I don't remember the song that's playing, but it sort
I don't
of
either.
goes with it. And that was something I was trying to pay attention to throughout the movie was the background or like little things that were put in there to see if there was any foreshadowing or anything like that. And like I said, that the shot looks really cool just with the kids running out with their
Yeah.
arms just backwards Naruto running.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're getting the whole thing with Justine. They're having a not a parent teacher conference, but it's basically like all the parents are there in an auditorium and they're talking to the principal, uh played
Benedict Wong.
played by Benedict Wong. Yes. Yeah, he
So
was a
boy
nice
Wong,
surprise. I was
I
wondering who he
know.
was gonna play in the movie because I knew he was in it, but it was
I didn't. The only ones I knew were in the. This is how far I stayed away. This is the only ones I knew who was in it was Josh Brolin and Julia Garner. That was it.
dang nice. Yeah, I remember seeing his name on the poster, so I was like, okay, he's gonna pop up somewhere. And yeah, he plays the principal, and he's basically defending her, because the town's after her. They're like, it
Yep.
happened to just your class, all of the
Yeah.
kids except one little boy named Alex. And during the narration, they're talking about it as well. That she's been questioned. They questioned Alex as well, and no one knows what happened. So the
Yeah.
town pretty much just blames her. It's very much that small town feel where it's like everybody knows your business and they're all just pointing to her and they're ostracizing her. They're like, "What did you do with
Yeah.
our kids? It's your fault. It's your fault." To the point that they actually chase her out of the auditorium and they're basically like, "Hey, go home, get out of here." And this is when she stops at the gas station and she picks up was it 2 bottles of
Yep.
vodka, which
Yeah.
she's a vodka girl.
Yep. And you know
So
she's been there before because she went straight to it.
yeah, yeah, she
Because the
goes
camera, the way
straight for that
the
bottle.
camera just basically is like on a track. It's just like following her through this liquor store. And it's like she knows where she was going. She knew where she was going.
And I do like the camera work in the movie. We'll talk more a little later about that, but the camera work is really good.
Yeah.
So all of that's happening. She goes home. She's just sitting there getting drunk, and then there's this loud knock at the door. So she goes to look outside. She looks at the peephole, nothing. She's like, "Hello," the classic movie trope, which is
Yeah.
don't ever. She's just like, "Hello, hello, who's there?" She looks, there's no one there, so she starts walking away, and then there's just a loud boom, boom, boom on the door. So she goes to grab, was it mace or something like
I
that,
think so.
right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so.
She goes to grab it. She walks outside, which rookie move. Don't ever
Yep.
go outside and then leave your
Your
door
front door
open with your
open.
your
Yeah.
front door open with your back to it. Like, no, you're just asking for trouble. So, she goes out, she's looking around, and then you see on the side of her car someone wrote witch in
Yep.
red paint. So then it cuts to her. Is that when it cuts to her going to the police station?
Yeah, because she tries to scrub it off, the next morning, and then I believe she ends up going to the school first, um, because she wants to, I guess, speak with the child, just whatever. And then I believe the principal, I think is Andrew, right? Andrew Marcus was what is his name? Uh,
Marcus. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think they
Oh
call
yes,
him Marcus
Andrew.
Shields, but
Yeah,
it's
Andrew.
Andrew Marcus, yeah,
Yeah.
which is just weird. Two
Yeah.
first names. But anyways, yeah, that's when he's just like, no, you can't, whatever, you can't see the kid, right? And then because I think she had the meeting, right? That's when she gets put on leave.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
basically
yeah, yeah.
saying like, "Oh yeah,
You're not
maybe it's best
fired,
if you."
but yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
and she
fired, but like just go ahead and take this like paid leave of
sabbatical.
absence or whatever. Yeah. And then that's
Yeah.
when she goes to the police station and gets, they take a report on it. And then she sees like a police officer across the parking lot and she waves. So and he waves back. So you feel like there's something between them. Uh and I think that's what Paul was his name?
Yes, Paul played by Alden. Uh, Aaron Reich.
Aaron
I
Reich?
can
Yeah.
never pronounce the last name.
Han Solo.
Hans. I was just about to say Han Solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solos Alden or
Yep.
Oppenheimer, and that's it. There's nothing recently that he was in, to my knowledge, that I'm acknowledging.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go.
See our previous content for more
Yeah.
information. But yeah, so this is around the time that she's in the bar, right? Because this is when she goes to the bar and she's like, you know what, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go have a drink, and then this is when we're introduced to Paul officially. He comes in and he's a little hesitant and whatnot, and he's like, "Is it okay if I hug you?" So they decide to hug, I believe, for like a second, and he's sitting down and he asks, like, she keeps calling the bartender over, so he eventually makes his way over and he's like, "Oh, I just want a Coke," And she
Yeah.
sort of looks at him like, ooh. But we'll find out more about that in a little while. So they have a discussion. They end up talking, and he's telling her, like, I hope you didn't drive. And he's telling her, you have a drinking problem without telling her she has a drinking problem. And then it ends up cutting to the next morning, right? Where she's sitting
Yep.
down and she's playing the song on her
Yeah.
phone. And it's shown that he's in bed. So he wakes up, he ends up leaving, and some more stuff happens. I don't really remember too much about what happened on this part. I just remember that later on that night, that's when she starts having this dream
Yeah.
where she's walking through the school and she's walking to her room, and all of the kids are in there and their
Yep.
heads are
With their heads
down.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have their heads down like this, and she's going to her desk, and she looks in the back towards Alex, and his face
Yeah.
comes up, and it almost looks like he's wearing messed up clown makeup
Yeah.
with like his eyes all glassy,
Yep. Pretty
like
much. Yeah.
like really creepy, like really really creepy. And she ends up waking up, and this is when she's laying in bed, and then I like when the camera moves too, like with her, and
Yeah.
she's looking down the hallway, and she lays back, and then this is when she looks up, right? And then we
Yep.
see this woman on the ceiling just going like, ah! Like
Yep.
that. Just really creepy. That got a jump out of me. I was
Yeah.
like,
And
ah.
basically, yeah, she wakes up again. It was like a dream within a dream.
Yeah, and then from there it cuts to black, right? And then we go to the next title card.
Yeah. Well, does it? I think it continues with her because she's still trying to investigate, or she wants to.
Oh, you're
I
right.
guess yeah, like I don't want to say investigate, but she's still trying to like talk with
Talk to
Alex because
Alex.
and then because that's when she like kind of snoops around the house. The house is all like the
Yeah.
windows are blotched out with newspapers,
Alex's
except for
house,
like
yes.
yeah, it's and then except for like a small little crack in the window, she's able to look, and then she sees like Alex, what we assume is Alex's parents, just sitting on the couch, just like I don't want to say like catatonic, but very similar
Staring.
to
Just like,
basically, yeah. And so she kind of wants to try to report that and whatever, but and then we find I think she ends up calling I think she ends up calling Mark or Andrew, like Marcus, about it, about wanting him to call, make go out and visit the house, and maybe to get child like services involved. And then the next thing we see is she's like kind of camping outside the house in her car, drinking, and then it ends up like
yeah.
cutting, and it's
Yeah, she's
nighttime, and
pouring
she's like,
vodka into a
yeah,
cup and she's just like
yeah.
chugging it.
And then she's like, it cuts to like nighttime, and she's like passed out in the car, and then that's when the camera pans up to like the door of the Alex's house, and it just like opens, and it's just like it's just darkness inside, and that's when you see, I was it, I don't know if it was Gladys or the
It
mother.
was it was the mother.
All right, I thought that's
Yeah,
what I thought
it
too,
was the
because
mom, and
we
she's
didn't.
walking out like
Yeah, just
this,
all like whatever.
like
And then you
with her
think she has like a
hands.
knife. It looks like she has a knife at first. At least to me it did. And then she like comes up to the side of the driver's side window, just like looking in. And then she just comes around, and then you hear her like open up the back of the door, and she like
Yeah,
gets in, and
you don't
like
see it. You don't
you don't
see
see
any
it.
of it.
The
You just
camera is
hear it
still
all.
on. The camera is still on Justine, just passed out, like, and then she gets like it's scissors, and she ends up cutting
Yeah.
some hair, and then that's when we cut to Archer, Josh
Yeah.
Brolin's character.
Yes, and when we cut to him, he's sleeping in a bed. You can tell it's a child's bedroom because he's wrapped up in Batman
Yeah,
blankets, which made me think. I was like, is this foreshadowing for James Gunn's Batman? Are we getting Josh
maybe,
Brolin? I'm like, just to
maybe
tease us.
that's how Alex
Um,
becomes the Joker.
Makes sense. Oh man, speaking of Joker, we'll get to that. But yeah, the Batman bedding. I noticed. I didn't notice it a little till a little later on during this segment, but the Mad Max, Fury Road poster and the Ready Player One posters in his room in the
Nice.
background. So I noticed those. Yeah, during this scene, we're shown a little bit more about Archer's life, Josh Brolin's character, and he's taking it really hard. Like this
Yep.
guy is broken, very broken, and it opens with him. Him and his wife. You can tell like they're having like sort of a not a disagreement, but you can definitely tell
There's
there's
tension
something
between
there.
them. Like, yeah,
Yeah, and it ends up cutting to him going to this work site, to this house that's getting worked on, and he's talking with one of the workers, and they talk about how one of the paints that they ordered was the wrong color, and he's just like,
yep,
"Oh man, I made a stupid like that's on me. Like I'll fix it." So he ends up getting the paint cans and putting them in the truck, and it zooms in, and you see that it says red paint
yeah,
on it. So, he's taken off doing his thing. And this is when he's driving past the gas station, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So prior to that, it also cuts to show it's intercut with the same scene with Justine when they're in the auditorium at the school where he's standing up and he's talking about how he's feeling. And it also shows like his point of view of him following her and stuff like that. So what we end up seeing from his point of view is that he followed her to her house and he's the one that
that
wrote
wrote yeah,
witch
yeah.
on the side of the car.
Like we don't
So
see it, but the paint in the back of the truck, we just it's very alluded to that he's the one that did it.
yeah, never confirmed but definitely
Yeah,
alluded to. So all of that happens and he's just going about his way. He keeps rewatching the video of from the Ring camera of his son just, running out into the
running away. Yeah,
darkness. So is it around this part when he starts doing
yeah, because he
the
sees
investigating?
I think he goes outside and he sees that a tower, and then I don't know what the tower had to do with
I
anything, but he
thought that was
figured
gonna
that
come
if
back in some way or
yeah,
form.
but he figured if his kid was running in a straight line, then all right, well, from his house, I think it's because he found the tower was the next like checkpoint, right? So he got
Yeah.
like the map of the whole like town. So he was like, all right, if his house is here, the tower's here. So he drew a straight line like all the way across the map. And then I think he ended up going to another parent's house that, their kid also did the same.
This is where we
At
get Justin
first,
Long.
yeah, at first the wife said no, and then he waited until, you know, the dad came home, played by Justin Long, the cameo from him. And then he showed him the footage, and then that's when he drew another like line from that house, straight line, and we were able to intersect it at a particular point um on the map, which we will find out whose house that is later on. But that's when he kind of leaves and I think this is where he ends up seeing Justine at the gas station because he kind of confronts her a little bit and then Justine kind of like looks away, and that's when we see Marcus just Naruto running towards her, and then that's when
Yeah.
he attacks her, and then I think it kind
So
of there's like a small little skirmish, and then it ends up cutting from there.
so there was one thing we missed when we were talking about that, and it's really important. Is during I think it's right before the gas station scene. It's right before the gas station scene. He has a dream
Oh yeah,
in the middle of the night because after he had gone to Justin Long's character and he had started realizing, oh, you know what, like this is intersecting. He either had the dream after or he had it
I think it's
prior, and
I
that's
think it's
what
before
inspired him, right?
before he did the yeah, it's before the
Yeah.
investigate, like he started doing his investigation. Yeah,
Yeah, because he starts what it looks like at first is astral projecting because
yeah,
he's asleep and then it shows him standing up in the room and he looks back and he's looking at his body that's asleep. So he ends up going outside because he hears his son. So he's like following him and whatnot, and as he's doing it, he comes upon this house, and as he's looking at the house, he looks up and there's this big huge like
rifle, yeah,
AR-15
something, yeah.
that's just like up in there, which I'll just say now it never comes back,
No,
but I guess you could also think of it as probably his mentality of his consciousness
Yeah,
trying to piece it
maybe.
together so it could be metaphorical, as a weapon. But I
Yeah,
mean, we can talk about
still
that
kind of a
later.
yeah, it's still kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, because it was very video gamey. It almost looks like old school, like Hitman, when you're
Yeah,
like looking at the guns and seeing like, do I want this one or not? And when he's doing it, there's a 217 that flashes on it.
yeah,
So, and then it just disappears. So he ends up going into the house, and when he does, it's his house though, right?
yeah.
The hands are going to, because he goes back to the room, and his son's in the bed, and his son's just staring at him like this, like wrapped up in the blanket, and he's just telling him like, I love you, like I miss you, and I'm so sorry. And it keeps cutting back and forth between the two of them, and then eventually towards the end, like after, while he's crying, it cuts back, and it's this old woman's face, and she's just smiling, and he just like the audience freaked out. I freaked out, and Josh Brolin freaks out, and then he wakes up and he's like, "What the?"
Yep.
And then, like you said, that's when
That's when he,
everything
yeah.
transpires, and then we get to the gas station, and then that's when Andrew's Naruto running towards him, and then yeah, it cuts right there. Dude, Benedict running in with those coke eyes, dude.
Yeah.
But then this is when it cuts to Paul. So
Yep.
we get Paul's segment. Now, for Paul, this is when we learn that his wife, girlfriend, they never
Yeah.
say
I think
what
it's his
she is.
wife.
Yeah,
Wife,
but
she's on like a business thing or whatever for I think it was supposed to be for like 6 days, but she's like, no, I they might cut me down to 3 days. So he's just like, okay. I mean, you could tell there's, some marital issues there because
yeah,
he just seems
because
so disinterested. Because it seemed like she was just kind of like, I don't want to say nagging, but I mean, she was looking out for his well being. It's like, hey, maybe you should go to a meeting. And then,
yeah,
because we learned that he was like, I guess, a alcoholic, stuff like that.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
like that scene though, because you can hear that she does sound, I don't want to
Yeah.
say
I don't want to say it's
overbearing, but
nagging,
a
but it
little too
is.
over concerned.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, like trust him, like listen off the reins. But you can tell that she does love him,
Yep.
which is like, I kind of feel bad for her a little bit. It's June Diane Raphael. I freaking love her and everything that she's in. She's always that nice spice, and any project that she's been a part of. And I feel like they don't use her enough in here, but there's also really not too much for her to do. But like I said, we'll talk more about that when we get a little closer to the end. But yeah, so with Paul's thing, he's just going about his way. He ends up frisking this guy named Anthony. It's this homeless dude who we saw earlier in the movie. He was asking Justine for money. He said he was trying to get home. He was like, okay, thank you. So he's just there. He's sort of like a presence. Um, so he ends up like frisking him and whatnot, and he's like, hey, do you have anything on you that can hurt me? Do you have any needles, anything? He's like, no sir, no I don't, no I don't. Okay, do you? And he's like repeating himself.
Yeah.
So he goes and sticks his hand inside his pocket,
And
and
gets
it
stuck by a needle.
gets stuck by a needle, and then he immediately cold cocks him, cold
Yep.
cocks Anthony in the head, and he just goes flying sideways. But while that's all happening, he's running into the car, and like he's taking the glove off, and he's just panicking like, no, no, no. And then he looks up and realizes that the camera was recording. So he pulls it out immediately, and it cuts to him going over to Anthony. He's like, hey, I'm going to let you go. You go your way, I'll go my way. You don't come back into town, I won't do anything
Yep.
worse, and we just go our separate ways. So that happens, and he ends up talking to his captain, Captain Ed, who actually turns out to be his wife's dad as
Yep.
well. So
Father-in-law.
yeah, so he's telling him about what happened, and the captain's like, well, one of two things can happen. Those cameras, they're good for 30 days, so eventually it'll override itself as long as this guy doesn't come back. But if he comes back, you're in a world of trouble. So he's got that on his mind now. He's got the, getting stuck in the finger. And Captain even asked him, did you go to the hospital? So it never shows it, but then it cuts to the bar scene that we saw earlier with Justine, but now we're seeing it
Yeah.
from Paul's point of view. Instead of going through it all again, they just do like a little quick cut, and then it cuts
Yeah.
to this the sex scene,
The sex scene. Yep.
which is really funny. And then it just cuts to it ending. It cuts to him getting home, and then this is when we find out his wife's there, and
Came back even earlier.
yeah, she came back even earlier, and then she confronts him. And again, this is where I feel bad because she's like real happy and stuff like that, and then he's just like, "Oh, I was out," and then
Yeah.
she's just like, "You son of
Immediately knows.
a."
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, that's when you can see him start. I don't want to say he's coming unhinged, but he's definitely like getting more and more on edge.
Yep.
So this is when it cuts back to him at work, and this is when he starts chasing Anthony, right?
Yeah, because he sees
Yeah.
Anthony approaching the police station, and
He's like, I thought I
he,
told you.
yeah, yeah.
What
So he
did I
starts
tell you?
chasing him. He starts chasing him, and then that's when we cut to Anthony.
We actually cut to James.
James, is it James first?
Yeah, it's James first. But I wanted to say real quick during this scene, when he gets in the car and he's all mad, when he slams the door, I like that the camera on the door shakes while he's doing it, and it gives it that like sense of, oh. But yeah, the this is when we cut to James. I'm
Okay,
saying Anthony,
James.
right?
Yeah, I will say we've been calling him Anthony this whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah, his name's James. It's cuz on IMDb they have him as Anthony, but his name's
That's weird.
James. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is when we cut to James.
So yes, this homeless drug dealer is named James, not Anthony.
Yes, and they during this scene, dude, his opening scene, like they really, really went all out with the drug use.
Oh yeah.
Like they made a point to it's very realistic. Not that I would know
Yep.
personally, but but yeah, it's very, very, very realistic. And it paints it like he is a drug addict. And like he's going as far as like it's all played for laughs. Like he's just talking on the phone like, "Oh, hey." Like they never tell you who he's talking to, but while he's doing it, he's going through cars and stuff like that just trying to see which doors are open, and one is open, so he ends up taking this kid's like iPad and headphones
iPad,
and
yeah.
stuff, and then it shows him like chilling outside a pawn shop waiting for it to open, and he brings it to the guy and he's just like, I don't want this, and he's like, $50, $20, $10. Like he
Yep.
just keeps going lower and lower. So this is when he keeps roaming around just trying to find stuff, and then this is when he ends up at Alex's house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he ends up over at Alex's house. He's going around the area, and he tries the back door initially, or he tries the back window initially, but then he decides I'm gonna climb through the second story, and then he just ends up making all of this noise. He starts searching through the house, and while he's doing it, this is when we find Alex's parents, and they're sitting
Yep.
at the table, right?
Now I think they're on the
Oh
couch
no,
still
yes, yes, they're
because
on.
he sees
That's right.
the reflection in the TV.
Yes, they're on the couch because he he says, "Ooh, Willow," because he finds a Willow
Some
DVD.
DVDs, yeah.
Yeah, and he finds this old school game system that's
Yeah, I
hooked
didn't
up
recognize
to.
it.
I didn't either. It just looked like really, really old and retro. So, but yeah, he goes, "Ooh, Willow," and then he sees the reflection of Alex's parents, and he sees they're
Yeah.
just chilling on the couch, and like you said earlier, just like in a catatonic state. He's like, "Oh," and then I like that he's still like just putting everything in a
Yep.
in a a freaking
Pillowcase.
pillowcase. So while he's doing all that, this is when he's going through the other rooms as well, and then this is when he makes his way into the basement, right?
Yep.
Because he's
He
just
goes
like,
to
eh.
yeah.
He's like, eh, why
Yeah.
not? So he goes down to the basement, and then this is where it's revealed this is where all the kids are, and they're just
Yeah.
standing there in the dark.
Yep.
So he gets freaked out by that. He goes back upstairs, and then is this when they start attacking him, the parents?
Because when he sees like all the kids are just standing there and like in unison, all 17 of them just turn around like instantly, and then that freaks him out, and he like runs up, and then I think this is where he closes the basement, the basement door, and pushes the I guess side table in front of it, and it's like
Yeah.
you see the parents over like in the corner here, and you see them rise up, and then they come around, and he like turns around, sees them, and he just bolts for the door,
Yeah,
and
which is a
then
really
that's
cool
when
camera shot where he's like
yeah,
pulling the door and then he's like pulling the chain off.
yeah,
And then this
and
is
then
when it just cuts to
that's
him booking it, right? And he just keeps
yeah,
running and it's like intercutting like him running past all these different places. And so
yeah.
he finally ends up in the woods and he's just like, "Oh, what?
Well,
Like
no,
what the heck?"
because he ends up no, he ends up leaving, and he calls to see about that reward because he's like, "Hey, I found all 17 children."
Oh, that's
And
right.
then yeah, that's when he and he's just like, "Well, can
Yeah,
you meet me because I
yes.
don't want to go to the police station." So then and then I guess they were like, "No, you got to go to the police station," and that's where we
Oh,
see
oh,
why he was approaching the police station.
because he was at the pawn shop again because he was
Yeah,
doing the silverware and then that's
yeah,
when you said he looks up and then he's like, "Oh, 50,000."
yeah. He's like, "Well, I found them all." And then he goes to the police station, and then that's when Paul sees him again. That's when Paul chases him,
And we
and
get
then
a
he ends
really
up
cool Dutch angle shot, dude. That is how you do
yeah,
Dutch angle shots. Like it's a
yeah,
great scene of him running and the camera's just panning into like that, following him. And
yeah,
yeah, and then this is when we get we find out more about what happened with that. And like you said, this is when he's running through and he ends up running into the woods,
yep,
right? And this is when he's like,
yeah,
oh, and then he realizes, he's good, but then as he's there, he's looking around and the camera's panning slowly too, and you're thinking like something's gonna be in the background, like the kids
yeah,
are gonna like emerge or something. But it keeps panning and then it cuts to this woman again, this creepy
hmm,
looking woman, and she's waving right at him.
yep,
And then he's just like, nah. Like he ends up jumping in the tent
yep,
and then
zips it up.
yeah, he zips it up and then you hear like this twig snap and which made me, now that I think about that, the ending
Yeah,
later on, the you hear the twig snap and you hear this like someone's in front of the tent and they're unzipping it, so he grabs a bunch of needles and as soon as it opens up he just jams it and whoever's there and it ends up going into Paul's face and he's just
yep,
basically like and then Paul's ready to kill him right
yeah.
here. Like
Pulls out a shotgun, and the guy was like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait! I know where the kids are."
he's like, I could take you to them, I'll take you
Yep,
to them for the money. So they end up getting in the cop car. They drive over to Alex's house. They get there, and he ends up leaving. Paul ends up leaving James in the back seat, handcuffed, and he goes to investigate. And this is when the door opens, and we don't see who opens the door, right? We just see the door
no,
opening, and he goes in.
yeah. He's kind of like it looks like he's talking a little bit, but then he goes in, and then it like you know, James is like, "What's going on?" And then like it basically just cuts like I don't know, like 8 hours later or whatever it was
Yeah,
because
it's
it
a
was daylight,
nighttime,
and then
like
it's not.
instantly.
And then yeah, and then we see Paul come out of the house like in a I wouldn't say in a rage, but he's definitely walking with purpose, right? And then he like
Yeah.
comes up to the car, opens up the door, and pulls James out and just starts dragging him into the house.
Yeah, drags him
Yeah,
in, and then that's when it cuts, right?
yeah. We
Again, it
cut
goes to
to I
black.
think yeah. Then we cut
Marcus.
to yeah,
Yeah, this is when we finally find out what happens to Marcus.
yep.
So, it opens with him and his husband right at the
They're
grocery store.
shopping. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
shopping.
and this is where you find out this is when Justine was talking with him on the phone, saying like, "Hey,
Yep.
send somebody over there, or try to talk with Alex." Like she's begging him since she can't do it. She's like, "Please, just." And he's like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
arrange for something." And it cuts to him back at the principal's office, and he's sitting there like arranging his desk, and his secretary walks in, and she says that the 2 o'clock is there, right?
Some yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then it cuts to the glass, and the glass is like frosted, almost ghosted, so you
yeah.
can't see exactly who's on the other side, but you just see this figure come in with like red orange hair, and she introduces herself as Alex's aunt Gladys,
Gladys. Yep.
played by Amy Madigan, who I have not seen in a movie in a long time. I think the last thing I saw her in was like a story arc I think she had on Grey's Anatomy. I think she had one on there. But yeah. Amy Madigan, if you don't know who she is, Uncle Buck, and she's Kevin Costner's wife in Field of Dreams. So great casting. Great casting for this character. But yeah, we're introduced to her and she is very off-putting,
Oh
very
yeah.
unsettling. You can tell that there's something up with her. Her hair, like the bangs are cut off
Yep.
and her hair is just sort of like out, like it looks creepy. Like really. And then her makeup, the way that she has it on too, like it's stuff of
Oh
nightmares.
yeah. It's definitely more like Heath Ledger Joker lipstick kind of going
Yes.
on there.
Oh, actually, yeah, when he's pretending to be the nurse. Hi. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that's actually the best way to compare it, but very, very creepy. So they're talking, and she's basically saying that, oh, I'm here to take care of them and stuff like that, and everything's fine, it's all good. And Andrew's still pushing the subject, like, hey, like it'd be nice to talk with them. She's like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's all good. So they keep cutting to her looking at
At the
something, and
ribbons. It's like
yeah,
some
the
ribbons or
ribbons.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, so it cuts to her looking at them, and then after that, that's when it cuts to him at his house, right, with his husband,
Yeah.
and they're sitting down, like getting ready to have like some snacks, and then they hear
Yep.
a knock at the door, and it's Gladys, and she's like all out of breath, saying that she ran across town, like some story about not having a vehicle or something had happened.
Yep.
So she ends up coming inside, and they're like, get her a glass of water, and she's like, oh no, a bowl.
A bowl.
And yeah, and they're like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, I won't even go into it um with that." But one of the things I forgot to mention during that meeting, she says consumption.
Yeah.
She says that, "Oh, his father's come down with consumption." And he's like, "Well, isn't that something from like the Oregon Trail, which we'll talk about later?" Um but yeah, so he grabs a bowl, he fills it full of water, and as they're there, she starts pulling out stuff from her bag. So she pulls out a bell, little tiny bell, it's a six with a triangle, right?
Yep.
A six
Yep.
with a
Yep.
triangle. She pulls out this little twig sort of thing. It almost looks like a little small tiny branch, and she also pulls out something else, right? Or is that it? I think that's all she pulls
I
out.
think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you see
Oh, and
that
she pulls
stick.
out the ribbons. She had like all
Yeah,
the ribbons tied together, and they're like, he's like, "Oh, is that my ribbons?" And then she ends up like cutting her thumb on the twig and like spreading the blood all around the twig and tying the ribbon all around it, like some kind of like turning it into like a voodoo type thing.
yeah, and then she snaps it.
Snaps it. Yep.
And then once she does, this is when Andrew starts going berserk,
Yep.
and he just starts beating his husband down like
Yeah.
real bad. Like
Headbutting him. Just
yeah, he gets him
headbutting him to
down on the
death.
floor and just and you
Headbutts him to
hear it
death.
and you
Yeah.
see it and it's bloody.
Yeah.
So freaking bloody.
Because I remember she ends up cutting the husband's hair and wrapping it. So I guess
Yeah.
that like marks it as a target in the water
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. Because then after he ends up kind of killing his husband, she does the same with Justine's hair because she had that like a lot of the locks of her hair after cutting it in the car. So that's what
Yeah.
sets Marcus, sets Justine as Marcus's new target.
Yeah, and then we get a scene of Marcus running through
Just
various parts of town, and as he is, his eyes are bulging out more
yeah,
and
more and more.
more, like as he starts getting closer. And then this is when we're cut back, but we're seeing it from Marcus's point of view, where
Yeah.
he's just going after Justine, and he won't
Yep.
stop. Like he just keeps getting up. Like he gets knocked by by Archer. He gets
Archer, yep.
back up. He's chasing her through the gas station, and the gas station dude is like, "Get out of here!"
Get
And
out of
she's
my
like, "Help
head.
me!" She's like, "You can't, like, help me!" And while he's chasing her through, Archer ends up like just bum rushing him into the side of one of the doors with the drinks. And
Yeah.
he just gets back up and he just keeps chasing after Justine. Justine gets in her car and starts driving away. And freaking Marcus just right behind her, Naruto, running towards the car. And we're seeing Archer witness all of this. So he
Yeah.
starts following them, and we just see Marcus get T-boned. Like, he gets
Yep.
hit hard by this car, and it cuts to Archer just getting out of his truck, and he's walking over, and this lady's like screaming like crazy, and we look down and we just see like the top of his head is just blown out,
Gone.
but
Yep.
his teeth, it almost looks like he's smiling from like what was left. And then this is when they cut to the hospital, right? And then this is
Yeah.
when Archer and Justine talk. So they're having a conversation, and then this is when he's like, "I want to show you something," and this is when he reveals the map that he had been
Yep.
working on, and he says that it almost feels like he was weaponized.
Yeah, like all the
Um,
kids were immediately weaponized or something.
Yeah, and I think that's why we were seeing that AR-15 is because it's a weapon. So to him, he was already thinking weaponized, but he couldn't
Yeah.
comprehend that yet. His conscious could, but he couldn't. That's the only reason I can think of why they had that in there.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm assuming he's a soldier. He was like in the military, before he became
yeah,
like an architect or whatever it was.
because he definitely carries himself like it in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, while they're doing all this, this is when he's showing Justine, and she realizes, oh my God, that's Alex's house.
Yeah.
So at this point, this is when they're cutting over to it, and they're going towards the house. And it cut. I don't remember when it cuts, but I think it's as they're pulling up, right?
Yeah. And
Or
then
it's when
we
they.
now go to Alex is like the
Yes.
whole, yeah, flashbacks with him.
Yeah, so we get Alex's perspective of what's been going on. So we see him getting picked up by his dad. He's also getting picked on at school. Dude, these kids suck. These kids
It's that's
suck to
that's
him.
most kids suck.
Yep.
Kids are bullies.
Yeah, they're bullying him like real bad. And it makes you look at the movie a little differently now with the kids. It's like, okay, we could lose a couple of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're seeing Alex's life. He has a really good relationship with his dad. Like, he's like, what does he call him? X-Man or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, he's asking him about his day, and they show his mom and his life at home. Like, the house is very open and bright and lived in, and it's just like a loving house. And they keep talking about how, oh, your mother's aunt is coming, and oh, we haven't seen her in forever. And they're like, yeah, she wasn't even at the wedding. It's been like 15 years since we've
Yep.
seen her. So they just keep alluding to this, and Alex is overhearing them talk and discuss these things. And while Alex is laying in bed, we see like the light from a car pulling up in the driveway. And as it is, he's looking outside, and we see Gladys down there, and she's like, holding all her stuff, and she's just like all frail and
It's
old and
frail.
whatnot. And then this is when we're introduced to her, and from there this it cuts again to Alex, and he ends up going into her room while she's laying down, and he's opening the door, and he notices that like her skin's like real old and almost like I don't remember if it was spotty or whatnot, but it's like the camera's panning as he's opening the door up, and when it does, it pans to her face, and she's just staring like with her eyes open straight ahead, and it scares him.
Yep.
So that ends up happening. It cuts to him at school again, still with the bullying, and when he gets out of school, he notices his dad's not there. So he's just like, what? And then it shows him he's been waiting there for a minute. Teacher comes out
Yeah.
and like, hey, you good? And he's like, no, it's fine. So he ends up walking home, and then this is when we find his parents sitting down, and Gladys is there, and she's like, sit down, Alex. So she talks to him and she basically shows him that she has control over his parents. The same thing that she had done earlier with Marcus and his husband, she's shown doing to his parents. She brings out this twig and she's wrapping their hair around it, presses her thumb into one of the thorns, bleeds over it, and basically just snaps it. And she snaps it or she rings the bell. It's one of those.
Yeah.
I get those parts conflated, but while she's doing that, she's basically showing that she has control over them. Is this the fork scene?
Yeah. They both grab forks and just start stabbing
Yeah,
themselves with
just
the
like,
fork.
and we find out that that's what those marks were on their face, is they
Yeah.
stabbed themselves in the face with forks. And he's there. Alex is trying to get in the middle of them, like, stop, stop. And from there, she's like, I can make them do whatever I want.
Yep.
So from there, she's like, they're gonna need soup, or they're gonna need to eat, so you're gonna need to feed them soup. So it shows him buying soup, feeding them, and then he ends up having another conversation where she says, like, I'm not strong enough. I thought it would be enough for me, but I need, more people. Like, what about your friends? Like, what about the other kids at school? I need you to collect something from them. So it cuts to him at school and he's deciding, what can I take? What can I take from them? So he decides to go to the classroom and he takes all of their little name tags on their buckets and their bins in the classroom. This is when we get Justine coming in. They have an interaction and he's just like, oh, I'm fine. So he leaves, goes back home, ends up giving all of them to her, to Gladys. So she ends up ripping them all up. She has this thing. I'm guessing it's blood that's in there,
Something. Yeah. Yeah.
because she ends up setting it on fire. It's very Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It. Like, very, very much. So she has that. She spits in it, sets it on fire. And then this is all occurring around the time of 217. And at this
Yeah.
point, this is when his parents, still catatonic, open the front door and they're standing outside and we're just looking, and then we start seeing the kids running down the street and they all like end up just running in like one after the other into the house. And then it's pretty much just cut of Alex just, having to feed his parents soup, having to
Feeding the
feed the
kids. Yeah.
kids soup. And he's just there, but it's almost like he's learning from Gladys as well, more about like her ritual and what she does for control and what she's trying to do. So
Yep.
at this point, this is when we start, the movie starts to intersect with where we left off. So everything's starting to merge at this point and follow up. So at this point, this is when he notices that Archer and Justine are outside, and this is when they know. It cuts back to their point of view, and this is when, like you said, Paul comes outside, and he's
You just
like he
like
does that
he
right,
does some
yeah,
weird thing where he's like, it's not a full like, it's just like some weird hand motion. You like you get the
yeah,
gist of it, but it's like it's not. You can tell he's from as the audience. We know he's not in control. They don't.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
So even there, like I was hoping at least a little more like, I'm bringing a gun or like something like that, you
Something.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they sort of just go with it, like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Sure. Why not?
So
Let's go in the house.
exactly. So they end up going in the house and they're just looking around and investigating. Now, prior to that, Gladys had told Alex, you see that there's this line of salt on the ground, and she says, don't cross the line, don't cross the salt. So when Justine and Archer are walking in, they're looking through the house, and just as Justine's about to cross, Archer's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
She puts her foot down, and then this is when Paul emerges out of nowhere, and so does James. And I noticed James was in the corner. I knew I saw something in the corner. It's very Hereditary with Tony Collette just like hiding in the corner and then running out like that. So they start getting attacked, and it's basically like they're having to fight them off. Archer's trying to fight James off, and Justine's trying to fight with Paul. So with Archer and James, he's pretty much just throwing him
Tossing them.
like everywhere,
It's
just
funny.
ragdolling him, and and it's this whole scene from this point on. Everything is more or less played for laughs.
Yeah.
And like he's just knocking him out, and he just keeps getting up, and he knocks him down, keeps getting up, throws him across the table, gets back up, knocks him out again, gets back up. It's just an endless
Yeah.
cycle of him getting up. And while Justine's fighting with Paul, he's basically choking her out against the thing. She picks up a potato peeler, and she just
Just
starts. I like that she
yeah,
starts with the
shaving him.
sideburns
Literally
first.
shaving him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just it keeps going, and it's just like just showing him losing skin. And she ends up just grabbing his gun, and she shoots him in the throat, and he's still going. And she ends up putting the gun to the side of his head and just pulling the
Yep.
trigger. So while that's happening, Archer, finally knocks James out, and he starts going down into the basement. So while he's doing this, he discovers the kids are down there, and he's got his phone on with the light, and he's looking at each kid, and he's looking for his son. And then he
Yep.
gets right at the end, and you just see Gladys like that, and
Just
she's just like
yeah.
like towards, and it's all towards the camera too, so
Yep.
it's super
It's like
creepy.
it's like when you find you're like something just like that's not supposed to be there. Just it's like you ever see that it's a video of raccoons going across like a deck, right? And they're
Yeah.
just being sneaky. But then when one of them realizes it's being filmed, he's like, and
Yeah,
then that's
yeah.
what it reminded me of.
She's
He's
doing
like
raccoon hands. She's
Gladys is
like,
just like hiding, and she's like, oh, I got spotted, and then
yeah, and then she's like, ah!
goes after her.
And at this point, this is when she starts taking control of Archer, and then Archer goes to try to kill Justine, and he's basically just choking her out the rest of the time. At this point, Alex is running away from his parents because he crossed the salt, so they start running after him. He's running through his bedroom and bathroom, Gladys's old room, and then eventually he busts into Gladys's room, closes the door. His parents are getting ready to burst through it, and then he ends up picking up one of the sticks, the twigs that
Yep.
she had, and he picks up her wig as well. I thought he was gonna put the wig on or something, or try to convince them that he was her.
Right.
And so he grabs that and he runs into the bathroom, and this is where it gets very The Shining, because like his mom busts through the door and her face
Buster.
is like ah, and
Yep.
her eyes look real crazy too. And at this point, Alex starts. He pulls out some hair that he found inside the wig, and he wraps it around the twig. And from seeing Gladys do it, he puts the blood. He pricks his finger, puts the blood all over it, and then he snaps it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he
Right.
just
Yeah.
snapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
then
then it
as
goes.
soon
Gladys
as
is like,
yeah,
uh oh.
yeah, and then all you hear is just like, and then you
Yep.
just hear all the freaking kids run out from the basement, and they start bum rushing Gladys, and she's just booking it through the neighborhoods, through
Through
backyards, through
houses.
houses.
Yep. You just see her
And
bust through a house, and then the
yeah, like, and
family's
she's
like,
and she's just going through like the door, like
yeah.
opening up, and these kids, it's like Jackass Part 2 with the bull run at the beginning. Like, these kids are busting through the windows, busting through the doors, not opening them, full
Nope.
on
Going
bum
through
rush, just like, and you see like the glass going everywhere. She like closes the gate, they knock the gate down, and we do get a POV shot, or kind of from the back, while
them. Yeah.
Gladys is running. One of the kids is running after her. She's opening the door. The girl's busting through the fence. She busts through through the door, and then Gladys is running out. So she like gets her from around. She jumps out the window, and she ends up jumping on Gladys. And this is when all the kids just bum rush her, and they
Just
start just
when we say literally tearing her apart, we mean literally tearing her apart.
they pull her apart. They're biting her. They're like just like it's like the end of movie 43, the Beazle scene
Yeah.
with Elizabeth Banks when she's getting stabbed with the forks, and the kids are like killing her. It's like same exact thing. They're like pulling her jaw open. They pull her head off. Like, it's just so funny. It's so dark. And as soon as that happens, you hear the bell ring, right? It's like it goes ding, and
Yeah,
then
because at the
everybody
end,
goes back
basically,
to normal.
yeah, because it signals like her dying kind of breaks the spell of pretty much a lot of it. And I
Yeah,
figure, I guess, yeah. So it's not really stated or whatever in the movie, but I mean, well, okay. So we'll just get to the. So yeah, it all happens. Archer's trance kind of goes away. He
yeah,
drops Justine. Justine goes upstairs to check on Alex, who's holding his parents because they're not attacking him anymore. But Archer immediately follows the trail of destruction left by the kids, busting through
yeah.
everything. And then we get a scene where he's going through one of the house, and the mom's just like, "Oh my god, look what they did! Look what they did!" She turns around and says, "Oh my god, there's a man in the house."
Yeah, that part made me laugh.
But yeah, so he ends up finding all the kids, and he finds his son, and then he ends up just picking up his son and starts kind of like walking away from all the carnage. But then that's when it closes with the girl narrating again about out finding all 17 kids. Alex gonna went to go live with another aunt. This one's a good one.
Yeah,
um and then they said some of the kids got returned back to their homes, and then some of them, even or all the kids, got returned back to their parents, and some of them started talking again. But
and then
what I
boom,
was going to say,
credits.
yeah. And then
Yeah,
yeah, so what I was going to say is it's not really stated, but I feel like the longer you're under Gladys's trance, the longer it'll take you to recover, because we see Archer kind of recover almost instantly from Gladys getting torn apart, but the kids like
yeah, cause
a month under, like, and it takes like, I want to say that the events of this took place 2 years, like the girl's narration. I want to
yeah.
say, but I don't fully remember.
Yeah, I
But
was
yeah,
so into the movie that like just trying to take notes. I didn't want to take
yeah,
too many because I was just enjoying it.
yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
but yeah, that is the movie summary. Spoilers and all. So now let's shift
Just
gears.
the whole movie.
Robert, what did you like about this movie?
Almost everything. I mean, I love the way it was shot. The camera work was great. I love like some of it was POV, and then some of it was just like kind of like over the shoulder type POV action that we got like from the kids and other stuff. But like I said, the camera work, the sound, even the jump scares was done effectively. Just the overall, like, the mystery of what's going on. Like, it's a lot of it is not directly stated. Okay, who was Gladys? Okay, she's probably like, you can kind of infer she's a witch.
Yeah,
You can even, like, when Archer writes the witch on the van, like, all right, we kind of get like this movie's probably going to be about a witch.
yeah,
Um, like we think when we saw the teaser, we thought this was going to be like some kind of Pied Piper story,
yes,
like maybe Hansel and Gretel witch type thing, and it kind of was in a sense, both
yeah,
those things, but it's never like, I'm glad because we talk about this a lot, right? It, it's uh it's one of the movies where it's not everything is spoon fed to you. It leaves it
yeah,
open for interpretation. So, I mean, yes, you can infer a lot of everything, but it's not directly stated. And we don't need it to be directly stated. The audience we're not dumb. And that's what's great
yes,
about this.
yes,
Um, and then I will say, like, one of the things, like, yeah, okay, we have all these characters, and they might not be like the most well developed or three-dimensional characters, but it's not needed, right?
yeah,
For me, like Justine just being like a teacher alcoholic or whatever it is, I guess borderline alcoholic, or Archer just being a dad hell bent getting on his kid back. Like, who wouldn't be a dad on a a mission like that? Like, we don't need these abstract three-dimensional characters for a story like this, because
grandiose.
the mystery of this movie just is going to bring you all in, and then you are going to be like on every character. Like, even when she had to end up shooting Paul, and even the junkie, I kind of was like, man, I don't think they deserved that. Like, they weren't perfect human beings, but I
Yeah,
mean, like, you kind of felt bad for him. And I guess it's because we got to see their perspective of their life. It wasn't just like, we see it happening, but like we're actually in their perspective. We're seeing it from them. We're seeing how they react to it, and it kind of makes you feel bad when, even with Marcus. I mean, we don't get a whole lot of time with him, but you kind of feel bad. Like, he's has a seems like he has a nice life with a husband, and seems, they or whatever, and then he ends up just brutally murdering him in his and it, like, it's just, but it makes you feel for him, right? That's a well crafted story.
Yeah.
Um, but
In a
yeah, I
really short
mean,
amount of time.
exactly. And I think how the movie is constructed, giving us the POVs like the Justine Archer, it allows us to have the one-on-one time with the characters for even if it's
Yes.
like 10 to 15 minutes. We're having that one-on-one time with them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you completely on everything you said. Was there anything else that you liked, or was that?
I mean, I'll let you go, and then I'm sure there's something you'll probably,
Yeah. Yeah, so normally I try to write stuff down like throughout about what I liked, but a lot of it I talked about during the summary, which was the camera work, the freaking cinematography in this movie. The acting is on point, the directing, I already said the camera work, but I can't say it enough. Like the choice of
Yes.
shots, like
Yep.
just the
The fault,
camera
like
on the
just
doors, like you feel
yeah.
so in it, like so freaking in this movie. And like you said, the mystery is first and foremost on this, and then everything else is just filled in. But this is just such a strong thing. At 217, all
Yep.
of these kids ran out of their homes and disappeared, and nobody knows where they went. And that's it. That's all
That's
you
it.
need. And then everything else is just the there's something I'll touch on about what I didn't like, but I'll touch on that in a moment. But everything that you said, I 115% agree with you on. Like every single thing. This movie was great. It was worth the wait. Like I'm so glad we finally got to see this. I'm down to go see it again. But what didn't you like about this movie?
I want to make a quick shout out for the kid actor playing uh Alex. His name is Carrie Christopher. I don't know how old he is, but I mean he was amazing in this film. Like you don't get a lot of child actors that are like, I don't know. I just I can't I mean it looks like, man, he looks like he has some pretty good credits to him. He has 15 previous
Yeah.
credits. So I mean he hits a lot of like probably guest spots, like, so this is probably his
He was on
first.
2 episodes of The Rookie.
Yeah, so this is probably his
37 episodes of
first.
Days of Our Lives.
So I mean it's probably his first major, uh like, I mean obviously it's a film, right? It's a wide release film, but
From
I think
this,
this is gonna be,
yes.
yeah, like this is probably gonna be what catapults him into like mainstream spotlight. And I mean I think he was fantastic. Like, I mean, you talk about like Josh Brolin, who was great, and Julia Garner, who was also like, everyone in this, like acting wise, was great. Even Solo himself was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, he did
I
really
know he
good. It
always
was throwing me
gets,
off with the mustache, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it adds.
I think he's actually come into his own. Like, I mean, I know he got some criticism for Solo, but I mean, I thought he was fine in Solo, to be honest. But I think he's for sure coming into his own, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Like you said, they're firing on all cylinders, all of these actors in here.
Yeah.
And I agree with you with Carrie Christopher. I think he has a bright future. Especially since he's already got a good relationship with Warner Brothers. I wonder if DC is gonna try to snatch him up for something. Only thing I could think of would be like a Beast Boy or a Robin.
Now let him play Damian Wayne.
Ooh, that would be good. Hey, they have it coming up, so
Just they haven't cast anything yet. So I mean, like I said, I don't know how old he is, but I mean, you would think if he was like 11 or 12 when this was filming, could be in that 14 to 15 age range by the time they start. If they want to go like a kind of a younger teenage Robin, which
yeah.
whatever.
We're just putting it out there, DC. You're
Yeah.
welcome. But yeah, so what didn't you like about it?
I mean, honestly, I don't think there was too much that I didn't like. I'm trying to replay almost everything. Like, I mean, I touched upon like some of the all the characters. Like, you can kind of make an argument that they're not like fully fleshed out, which again I think is perfectly fine for a movie like this. That you don't need it
Yeah.
to an extent. Um, I'm trying to think of like I don't know. I don't. I just kind of like I walked out of it just feeling really like I don't want to say accomplished because I didn't had nothing to do with this movie, but like I was so happy
Yeah,
that
you
I
went and
I
saw it.
was
You gave them your
I mean,
money.
well, not only that, but like I was just super happy that like I got spoiled on absolutely nothing of this movie. Um,
And that it lived up to our hype.
yeah, and I mean I think that's an accomplishment. Staying away from all the even the audio advertisements in between
Yeah.
Hulu or whatever and
Which high
Spotify.
five, dude. We did
Yeah,
it,
I
man.
was
We
like,
did it.
I don't know what I think we were watching The Bear, and I got the Hulu with the ad, so anytime like an ad for weapons came on, I'm just like I just like I close my eyes and I just start just going blah blah, just I don't want
Yeah.
to
La
hear
la
it.
la 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 la
Yeah.
la.
And Joe will be she'll be talking to me when she'll instantly like when she sees it, she'll just start like, you know, kind of like talking to my ear to distract me. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, dude, it was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard the last couple of months, but hey, we did it. But so not
Yeah, I
nothing
don't
really.
nothing that's like really just like that I really have to like, call out or anything. I mean, I'm sure though if upon multiple viewings, I might find a couple of things, but coming out of just watching it once and having like this recency bias right now, like I'm on a high, and I'm like, you know what, this was everything I wanted it to be, and I'm like, I'm just trying to recall something, and I'm kind of struggling to find something wrong with it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. That's where I'm coming in. I got two things.
Nice. Let's hear
So
it.
there's only two things that I didn't like about this movie. The first one, I feel like Justine's portion could have been trimmed by like 5 minutes. I feel like 5 minutes maybe shaved off, and then I think it would have ran a little tighter. Because it does feel like there's some scenes where it's a little drawn out. I get that we are setting stuff up, but it just feels like it draws it out a little too much. So maybe anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. I would have chopped it off, and then I think it would have flowed just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And my final thing is how abruptly the movie ends, because
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
it's literally like the voiceover of just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he started talking again, and then boom,
Boom.
directed by Zach Cregger. And I was like, wait, hold on, what? Like
Yeah.
I would want at least like a panning shot or something, like at least watch them walking down a little bit more. But it just ends abruptly.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Maybe.
okay,
Maybe.
okay, boom, cut.
Maybe a little bit. Even if it's just like narration or something, I
Yeah,
think would even work. Because I think I was even on the drive home. I was talking with Joe, and I was like, how would they explain the events that just transpired to like the feds? Like you have
yeah,
Archer and Justine like coming out of this house, like, okay, a cop's dead. You think
yeah.
he's dead. If you find 17 children, I
In a
guess
basement.
16. No, no, no. You find them surrounding
Oh yeah. Oh,
an
because of where
older
we
lady
found.
that's being literally torn apart. Like, how do you explain these events?
Which is
And then you
funny
find
because
another
they tell
kid.
you at the beginning what's gonna happen. They're
Yeah,
like, they're like, a lot of people died.
yeah.
It's very bloody, but let's start from here.
And I guess they just, oh yeah, I guess they did just say they just covered it all up because they were embarrassed. But I'm just like, but still, like, just I know they played a lot of the in stuff kind of for laughs, but I would love to just see like a comedy, like even a skit, like an SNL type skit of just them trying to explain the events that happened in that house or whatever.
Yeah. Or hey, speaking of SNL, if they would have done a "Whitest Kids You Know" skit, that would have been cool. Because then Zach Cregger could direct it. Because never
Yeah.
forget where you started. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. The last question I have for you, Robert. What do you rate this out of 10?
I will say also before that, watch the credits. The
Yes.
credits
Oh
was
yeah.
really cool. There was actually several people taking like photos and short little video clips of the credits. Like I don't want to say too much. Just stay and watch the credits.
Yeah. There's no
Pretty
after
cool.
credit scene, no mid
There's no
credit
after
scene,
credit
but
scene, but the
the
credit the crawl is pretty cool.
yeah.
It's
I
definitely
I
unique.
agree. I do agree with
Yeah.
that.
So out of 10, man, this so far I think this might be my favorite movie of the summer, maybe even of the year.
Oh,
I mean, I don't really remember every movie I've seen this year. It's been a while. It's been a lot.
better than Mission Impossible, Robert?
Man, I
Ooh.
really liked Mission Impossible. Two different, very different movies. I see. Honestly, I think with weapons, it's like both the movies were like my it's all about did it meet or exceed expectations, and I think Mission Impossible for sure it exceeded them to a bit, but I think Weapons exceeded my expectations just a little bit more because I think it's maybe just because of how much I didn't know about the film going in, just the teaser trailer, right? I saw a lot of like, we saw the teaser to Mission Impossible, then you see a lot of TV clips, and I'm just like, okay, well, I already know it's gonna be like almost a 3 hour movie, so who knows if I, but then you see the plane sequence, and that's like, well, that's already
Yeah.
at the end of the movie. I hate when they do that.
The only
Um,
question is, will he pull it off or not? With this one,
exactly.
it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So I don't I wanna I probably won't give it a perfect 10 out of 10. I would even give it somewhere between a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. I'd probably go lean more towards a 9 out of 10 for
Nice.
this one. If I could go like a 9.2, I'd probably do something dumb like that, but you know,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, we'll go
I'm
9.25.
I'm we're doing quarters now.
Yeah, just random
um
number. 3
so I'm
1.
torn because I initially I was thinking 8.5 for this one, but it is a good movie. It's a really
Yep.
good movie. So it's like it's like an 8.5 to a 9. But I don't know which one to land on. Like I said, like those are the only two gripes that I have. I feel like if you fix those, it would be like almost the perfect movie where it's like, okay, like yes. Um,
Well, I feel like if you
did
think
it
about it,
have
if that's the case, you can take off point 0.5 for each gripe and give you a 9
true?
if you look at it
I,
that way.
I think I'm gonna go 8.5. I'm gonna stick with
Okay.
8.5. It's an 8.5, but it's a B plus. No, it's an A minus. It's an A
Okay.
minus, but it's an 8.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just good enough, but I don't feel like it's good enough to be a 9 because a 9 is pretty high. You know what? Because I'm thinking about The Conjuring because I gave The Conjuring an 8.5. And when I think about this movie, is
That's a
this
good
movie on
point.
par with The Conjuring? Yeah, you know what? 8.5. I'm satisfied with 8.5.
Okay.
Because like I
So what did I
said,
give?
there's things that can be
Oh, I have it on
improved in
this one.
here, but for what it is, it's good. The jump scares are great. Um and the acting, like I said, is top notch. If they were to give an award for this movie, Amy Madigan deserves a freaking award. She was creepy, she was intense, she was serious, like everything. And like the freaking makeup that they did with her, not just the makeup that she actually puts on with the wig, but just like how they make her look older and like no eyebrows and stuff like that. Like they did really good on that, and she carries that role. She
Yeah.
carries that creepiness, and she's not in the movie that much, which is the crazy
Nope.
thing. So it's like, like I said, the cast. But if there was anyone that I thought standed out, she was the standout in this movie because it takes a lot to be creepy like that, and
Yeah.
she knocked it out of the park. But aside from that, I don't really have too much more to say about weapons. What about you?
Yeah, I gave Conjuring a 9. So I mean, I'm satisfied. I think this is like, it's on par, maybe slightly better than Conjuring. Again, it might take a couple of rewatches to see where I truly land because you're kind of coming out just after seeing it, right? So it could fluctuate a bit. But so I'm happy with giving it a 9 out of 10. But no, I mean, aside from that, no, I mean, just it's a really good film. I'm so glad
Yeah.
we got to see it. Got to see it in IMAX. Didn't see any like promotional things, material for it. So man, I think that's just the way to go. Just do a teaser trailer watch and then just forget the rest.
Avoid the internet at all
Yeah,
costs and social media
which is
and
hard because
TV.
we do this.
Yeah, hey, but you know what? It was fun to do it for this one. And it just shows
Oh
you,
yeah.
we did this months ago, months in
Yep.
advance of this, and we said, we're not going to watch anything. And we stuck to our guns with it, and now we're reaping the
Conviction.
benefits. Conviction! We do not lack the courage of our convictions. Interview with the Vampire reference. But yeah, aside from that, thank you all so much for watching. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay notified of all the fun stuff we have coming up. And as Robert always says, get down in the comments. We want to hear from you. Have you seen Weapons? What did you think about it? Do you have theories? Do you think that this should have a franchise or not? Please say no. But if you do,
Nope.
get down in the comments. We still want to hear from you. And Robert, would you like to let them know about the other fun events we have going on the channel?
Yep. As alluded, we've been doing a ranked and rewatch series for The Conjuring. We are about halfway through. We still got a few more to go, leading up to the Last Rites coming out September 5th. So be on the lookout for all those. I think it's going to be 9 total, not including Last Rites. I think that'll make it 10. It's a lot of movies. I hope Weapons does not get a franchise like that at all. But yes, we also have our Superman ranked series. We allude Mission Impossible as well. We did that one before you know, Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning, whichever one they called it towards the end there. Don't really remember. Some Reckoning that didn't really get had because Ethan Hunt, spoiler alert, survived. But we also have a bunch of other trailer reactions. We do movies, video games, TV shows. We even did some kind of like user requests. Super Sentai, we had a lot of fun doing that. Same with Common Rider. Um, Kind of like open some new doors for us on well, and I might actually check out whenever was it Common Rider Zetsu. So if you have
Yep,
something you want us
next
to
month.
react to, get down in the comments. If it's appropriate, we will react to it, most likely.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry to segue back to Weapons. There was one final thing I forgot to mention that I really liked. I liked the music and how it set
Oh
the
yeah,
tone of it was almost like a fantasy fairy tale, almost like a little
yeah.
lullaby at the beginning. So I just wanted to mention that before we finished off. That being said, again, thank you, Robert, so much as always for everything. And thank you all so much for watching. Check out Weapons, and we'll catch you in the next one.